Hey Kurt, how are you?
Hi Maggie, how are you?
Good. I'm so
Good.
excited that you're kicking off the new year with me and that we're hosting a few shows today.
It's exciting.
So exciting. As you know, 2020 was a difficult year for
It
so
was.
many.
Absolutely.
As we were starting our Getting Real with Real Estate series with some of our favorite Chicagoans that we're also going to talk to a little later, you had a major pivot as well. And we want to chat about switching gears and what some of our favorite Chicagoans are up to, yourself included. As
Okay.
you've been selling real estate with us for the past few years. And I think as your, you know, pivot from RL to full-time real estate, I wanted to chat with you because I'm not sure everyone understands that you've been born and bred in real estate your entire life. And so I just kind of wanted to chat with you about that. These little known facts about Curt Rose in
Oh, I'll give
real
you the good
estate.
stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of known facts, but let's talk about the ones that are important. As you mentioned, yeah, no, um, I come from a real estate background. My father was a builder for 45 years out in the western suburbs. I'm from Wheaton originally, and of course he was Naperville, St. Charles, what have you. And I decided, I was going after my degree in psychology and stuff. And at some point, I decided that I wasn't ready to go after my master's. And so I decided to get into real estate. So actually, I had gotten my license back in 1986. And I had done it for many years out in the western suburbs. And as life goes, I ended up getting a divorce and decided to take and change environment perhaps and came down to the city. And to be honest with you, I started off with a small real estate company down here, and truth of the matter is, I just didn't know anybody at all. And
Mhm.
if in this business, you really got to know some people at least, and I knew no
Yeah.
one down here. And so what I did was, I did know somebody that was they were opening up a little restaurant called RL Restaurant, Ralph Lauren's first introduction into the restaurant business. And so, and he knew he was a manager, and he knew that I knew how to bartend, and I certainly knew how to talk. And so he said, Kurt, why don't you come on over here and give this a try? And I thought, this could be great for me. I get to know a lot of people, I'll get a lot of contacts, and it'll be fun. And what started off as my initial thought, and this was back in '99 when RL opened up, and my initial thought was, well, I'll do it for a couple of years. I'll get some names, I'll get some contacts, I'll do that, and then I'll get back into real estate. And truth of the matter is, I really liked it. It was challenging. I think that most people don't realize how how difficult that business is. Whether you're a bartender, server, busser, manager, whatever it may be, it's a very difficult business. But it was fun. Got to meet a ton of great people in this city. Got to see a lot of celebrities. Got to meet a lot of celebrities. Got to know them as well, and on a personal level. And what really was going to only be about a 3 year um, temporary situation, I ended up being there, well, about 20 years. And when I really kind of thought I'm going to get back into it was right around 2007. And of course, as we know, the
That's
market
great
just
timing. Yeah.
was not the time to get back into it. And so I held off.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to start dating myself a little bit, but when I was hitting my 50s, plural, I said to myself, if I don't do this now, I'll never go back into real estate. And so, as you mentioned, I think it was about 5 years ago. And of course, I looked into where to go, what company. At Properties was obviously a standout. Um, I liked the idea of the team environment.
Yeah.
We all help each other. And then in particular, I wanted to find that right team leader that was going to take and embrace me and, kind of reintroduce me back into the real estate. And of course, it had changed so much from the 20 some odd years prior that I needed a great leader. And this is how I came to you.
Oh my God. Stop right now. Stop it.
Hey,
Yeah.
the truth of the matter, that's exactly how that happened. And of course I did. I stuck in with RL, because the contacts were amazing. I loved the people. the customers and everyone I worked with, I really did enjoy that a lot. And I hung with them for a little bit longer. And um, so from starting with really knowing nobody in this city, all of a sudden, as it turned 20 years later, I seem to have accumulated a lot of friends and acquaintances and contacts and stuff. So the timing is just perfect for me to.
Yeah, and you certainly have. And I think one of the first things that I noticed about you, and then anyone that knows you, is I don't think there's anyone out there who's quite the connector that you are. I know that people came in to see you, you know, the way that you connect, the way that you joke with people and the relationships that you have are so, so special. Talk to us about that. Cause that is something that I admire about you. You can't teach that. And just talk about, just talk about your connection. How do you like
Well,
talk to us about how you connect with people and what you think for people out there, some tips on how to do that. Cause I think that you are masterful at that and share a little bit about that.
well, as I've always said, because you can anyone can pour a drink, right? Anyone can learn how to make drinks and everything else. The key to that, in the success at RL for myself, um, and the longevity to it, really, because
Yeah,
certainly,
that's
they,
hard. That's not,
yeah, they've gone through a lot of transitions and a
yeah.
lot of people
Hmm.
have come and gone, and really, when it was all said and done, it was just basically two of us from the original staff that were there, and um, it's about talking with, getting to know the customer, you know, getting to take and be yourself,
But how
basically.
do you get to know your customer without it seeming cliche, right? There are a lot of parallels to real estate and in the service industry that you are dealing with microtransactions at a time. You're dealing with a lot of them. You're dealing with people that you need to give your full attention to. Um, Rightfully so. They're coming in, they're choosing to come see you, they're choosing to come into your establishment. There are so many parallels. So how are you doing that without making it feel like that's the magic part.
Well, I think you almost touched on it, making it not feel like it's a job. You
Yeah.
know, so many people go in in that field and even maybe this field, and you feel like you just kind of go through the motions. And it's important to me when I was at RL and even today with doing real estate again and getting to know the customer, the client, what have you, what their needs are, what their likes are, what their dislikes are. Um, Establishing a relationship, and I do tend to take, and I love humor. I've
Mhm.
always I've
So
always
funny.
loved humor. My mother will vouch for the fact that many a times when in grade school I was called the class clown, but I enjoy it. I think that it opens up everything, and whether like at RL when people come in, they may have had a bad day. Let's see how we can change that. Let's see how we can turn that around. I mean, let's engage. Let's have fun. You know, and the same thing with real estate. I mean, when I work with sellers and buyers and what have you and stuff, I try to get into what's their personality. What we can show them houses. I'm certainly going to take and listen to them on that end of it. I want to get them the product they're looking for, but I also want to take and I want them to know that they're working with a friend. And same thing at RL. Why a lot of people would come back to see me, or how many people would call to get a reservation, even though they can call RL directly, they would call me because they knew that I would accommodate them. They knew I would make it happen for them if I could, and 99% of the time I did. And it's kind of the same principle with this. I think that they know if I can get a deal done for them, I'll get the deal done for them. If we're not finding that right product for them, I'll continue, and we will find the right product. So, but it's always based on relationships. I think every business, it's
Yeah.
about relationships. So, RL, it was all about, establishing friendships. Um, and you have to let your guard down. Even I allowed people to know me too, which was important,
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
I didn't give them too much information. I'm sure they wouldn't want to hear all of it, but but it's important, you know. So
It is important. No, those are all good tips. So as you know, 2020 has just been, you know,
Quite a year.
I mean, I don't even know how to articulate what kind of year
Yeah.
it's been. It's been so many things that we're still just in and processing. But what are some things that you think, are there any lessons or takeaways or anything that other than, pivoting completely into, real estate full time, which you've always been doing in selling with your background, but might be more well known now. But what are some things that, any lessons or anything that you're reflecting on, and what are your thoughts?
I think 2020, of course, was tough for everybody, um, especially if you're stuck inside. I think what was helpful is to continue with those relationships with people and reaching out to people. I reached out to many of my past customers at RL and past clients in real estate and stuff, just to see how they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, because it's tough. Some people can handle isolation, some people can't. I wanted to make sure that even though I was no longer at RL, I was still thinking about you. That I was not just a one-time bartender to you, or 100 time or whatever it may be. That you really meant something to me, and so I did. I reached out to a lot of people over this last year, and shamefully probably plugged a little real estate for myself. But really, the truth of the matter, it really was,
Well, people
concern.
want to know what you're up to,
Well,
that's not
absolutely.
what that is.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're going to come back and they're going to say, "Well, where is Curt?
Yeah.
And what's he doing these days?" And I thought it was important that they knew that I have transitioned fully into real estate, and that, of course, if I could help them and provide any further services beyond the RL experience, that
Absolutely.
I'd love to. But 2020 was a tough year, and I think that for me, I didn't watch as much TV. I thought let's focus on some other. I did a lot more reading than I ever have in the past.
Yeah.
I It's so easy to turn on that television and just and watch your day go by, but there was just such stuff on there that I just didn't care to watch all the time, and I just found it wasn't the best um, mental state for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so,
Understand that.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's one thing if you can use it as an escape, but then when there is
Yeah,
no escape, and that is the culmination of life at the time. That's a different set of urgency and
no,
circumstance.
it is. Yeah, absolutely,
Absolutely.
absolutely. But no, I think 2021 is going to be an exciting year.
I do too.
We've got this vaccine, and I don't know how people feel about it, but it's that light at the end of the tunnel, I think. And I certainly think that 2021 is going to be a great year, not just for real estate. I mean, even real estate was good last year. Let's be honest. It
Right,
was
right.
surprisingly. I think you would agree with me on that.
Absolutely.
I don't think people expected
No,
2020.
I think when there's some, people who've had record years, and,
Yeah.
it's different, the markets have shifted, it's different. But I mean, life is happening. It's just,
Well,
we're a little bit more separated.
I mean, don't you think what I really found when people were reaching out, it was the people that, because they were locked in, all of a sudden they realized that their places were too much smaller than they realized.
I think a
And
lot of things were crystallized for people. I think that, to your point, you were completely aware if your space was too small. You were thinking about a way to expand your space, and I think people's what they wanted and didn't want in their life became crystallized in many different ways, not just in real estate, but for the real estate market. I think that was a huge chunk of people moving, transitioning, finding either more space, different space, outdoor space, what
right.
have you.
Or even, or downsizing from what maybe they have here so they could take and buy something, let's say in Michigan over you know, by your neck of the woods as well.
Yeah.
So it was kind of, they were looking, how can I get more space? And there was a couple of ways of doing it for them. So I think that's why I think, and jump in on that, but I do think that's why 2020 for real estate was a pretty good year overall.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think that 2021, as people are coming back in, like you said, with the vaccine, in the city starting to open up more, I think people will feel more comfortable coming back in. The condo market in some areas been hit a little bit, whereas, single family homes have been a little bit more active and certainly in the city. But I think as we transition, you know, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. There's change. Chicago is a unique place. I think that it has the capacity absolutely to rebound. And it's just got that Midwestern heart, at its core, so
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Chicago as far, and I've lived within this area, for pushing 58 years. And Chicago's always been such a great, as I said, Midwestern city that we feel it, of course, but it doesn't wreck us completely financially. We seem to be able to ride it out a little bit.
a lot of resiliency.
Yeah, yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely, and certainly with real estate. So it'll be it'll be a great 2021.
I'm excited.
Yeah, so I'm hoping, yeah, so now, with moving beyond RL and going forward, I mean, my sole focus for this year is, of course, real estate, and I'm looking forward to it. I've got a bunch of fires, as they say, going on, and a lot of it really has to do with those connections of RL. I mean, that for me was such a gift that past career gave me to be
Understand.
able, yeah,
There's something to be said about, when I came in, I mean, I met a lot of the people I started working with, not as a sales agent, but as a different capacity, through different jobs. And I think that when it takes people a minute to kind of correlate you to that new position, but when they do, there's a really strong bond there, and there's a trust that's already established that you can't quite cultivate just from a pure sales relationship. I mean,
right.
it can happen over time. That's not to say, but I think when people see you, it's different facets of your personality and different traits that you have, and there's a trust that established there. So I think that's a great way to to meet people and to build your business in a different capacity.
Well, the thing
You
is,
can help people.
and I'm not so sure that everybody knows this. I think most people at this point, RL is run by Gibson's, the Gibson's Group,
Yeah.
and they took over in 2001. And what they really instilled in us was service,
Mhm.
and do whatever it takes to make that customer happy. And and through all these years to watch what and through their management staff and everything, I learned a lot how to take that and transfer it into real estate to make sure that that client is happy. Do whatever it takes within our power, um, and there's so many things that I can take from the experience of RL that I am applying to this. And because let's be honest, I mean, truth of the matter is, like any restaurant, I mean, we have that difficult customer, and you try to figure out, well, how can I get them to be happy? And in this business as well, you always get somebody that may not be so happy at the moment, and you got to figure out how can I take and turn this around, for them, mostly for them. It's not about me, it's about them. So, you after all those years of over at that restaurant, I mean, really, um, first of all, I'm a little bit older now, and I've learned the ability to take and step back a little bit, not rush to judgment, not to take and um, get angry about something or mad about something. Never take it personal, and that's the same principle I like to use in this. It's not personal. This is this is their livelihood. This is what they want. This is they're gonna. It's one of their major investments that they'll ever have, and they just want it right. And if I can make it right for them, that's what I'm going to do. And it was the same thing at RL. Gibson's always said, whatever it takes to make that customer happy, do it. And that's what I'm trying to apply with this as well.
Yeah, not only are you trying, I mean, you are applying that. And I think there's that magical Kurt Rose connection where when somebody's talking to you, they feel like they're the only person in the room. You have that ability to give that full on attention. Um, in all situations in your friendship. So, you're just such a special person, and we're so lucky to have you.
Uh,
We're so excited for your career. I mean, you've been doing well, but I just, the more I think people know what you're up to, I think people are going to want to reach out to you. And it's just been such a pleasure for us, for
well,
me and Lindsay and our group. And so,
oh,
we, we
it's
just
really
love
been
you. So, yeah.
it's been a complete pleasure for me. I mean, honestly, I mean, there's a lot of teams out there, and when I met with you and Lindsay and years ago, and we sat down and I think we're at the Peninsula and what have you, and there was an immediate connection. I felt it. I just thought these are the two I've got to work with. I think we're once again. I've said this before. We're in line with how we feel we want to take and deal with our clients and how we want to deal with people in general. We're not going to go after deals with this intent of hunger. We just want to make people happy, and I think that's where we're
Yeah,
at.
we want to deliver and make people happy. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Connections, the relationships, I think, are more important than the numbers.
yeah, agree.
And I definitely, that's certainly the commonality. But Curt, thank you so much. And I'm so excited that we're going to chat with some more Chicagoans coming up, that you and I get to
Right.
interview some of our favorite people around town. And you guys stick around, and we'll stay tuned for those next interviews.
Thanks, Maggie. Well, I'm so excited for our next guest. I've known her for 20 years. She's our local Chicago celebrity. She's known
Yay.
as
Hi, can you see me?
Candace.
Yay.
Hi, friend Candace
Hi
Jordan.
there.
Hey, Candace.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, thanks
Thank
for
you for
joining us.
coming on. We're excited to
Be
chat
here.
with you today.
And I'm excited for the chat.
Good, wonderful. Let's talk a little bit about, like I said, I've known you for 20 years, Candace. I think you and I were in our teens,
Yeah, our
and
tens.
our tens. And let's kind of go back to a little bit of the beginning of Candace, as we kind of know you a little bit. I know Playboy was such a big part of your life.
Still
and,
is.
And still is, absolutely. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that you started with them about 73,
Yeah,
1973?
1973 in St. Louis. That was my
Yep.
first job with Playboy, was as a bunny at the St. Louis Playboy Club, right out of high
Right.
school.
That's
And then
amazing.
you came to Chicago in 74. Am I right with that?
Right? Yeah, you got your stats right.
I'm trying, kid. I'm trying to keep up with you, And then in 79, you made the centerfold of,
Yeah,
of
it's amazing.
Yeah.
this.
Well, I was a bunny at the Chicago Playboy Club, and I was Bunny of the Year in 1976. So I really had access to all the art directors and photographers, and they knew me, I knew them. And so when they asked me to do the centerfold, I had already done so many advertising campaigns for the magazine. I mean, they all knew who I was.
Yeah.
So it was really just like another photo shoot for me. I mean, it was definitely a giant step forward with the organization, but I'd been doing it for a long time, since I came to Chicago. So it was kind of
Yeah.
a natural progression.
That's amazing. And then
Incredible.
9 times, right?
9 times on the cover, yes.
On the cover, right. Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
Yeah.
I can tell you this, don't worry, girls. They've never called me and asked me to be on Playgirl, so that won't happen
Well,
anytime soon.
Curt, if they knew you, they would call you.
Well, yeah, maybe. The body ain't what it used to be, Candace. I can tell you that.
Oh, well, whose is?
You're looking good. I know that.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Oh, well.
That's for sure.
Ring lights always help.
No.
Maggie and I are so interested in knowing really what you're doing these days. We know currently you're doing the column for the Chicago Star Media, which is exciting
Yeah.
news for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd love
Talk
to
to us
hear
a little
more.
bit
We
about
know
what
that you're involved.
They're a small group of hyper-local papers that they have big dreams, and I'm sure they're going to accomplish them and be all across the city shortly. But it's nice to be somewhere where you're so appreciated. I mean, the Elaine Hyde is the editor-in-chief and founder of the newspaper group that's also online. And I mean, I'm having an absolute blast there, writing things that I wished I could have written before, more personal things. So yeah, I mean, it's been really great so far, and I love every minute of it.
Yeah, I've seen the writings, and of course, you're connected with so many great Chicagoans, and you're able to take and talk a little bit about what's going on in their lives, and it's fun to watch. I agree. So
Thank you.
it's an exciting new media for you and for
Yeah.
us to really watch. You know,
Oh, thank you, Curt. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
of
definitely.
course.
So, Candace, I wanted to ask you this year's been so tough with 2020, and I know that you're involved with so many charities throughout the city and helping so many organizations. What things have you seen in 2020 with some of the organizations that you support that you want to share with us? Because so many people have pivoted and done amazing things, and we know that you're just so plugged into that. Will you share with us and let
Oh,
us
I'd
know?
be happy and proud to share with you, Maggie. You know what? One thing that's really amazed me is that every single charity that I'm aware of, and that's plenty of them because I've been doing this for a long time, they've all done the most successful pivots. I mean, into virtual fundraising. And, it was a scary place to go because it was brand new for every single one of them. But each organization found some unique niche that made them special and made their longtime supporters want to give even more. I mean, in most cases, sometimes the fundraisers virtually raised even more than the in-person events had in the past. And actually, to the point where they were shocked at the degree of success. And almost everybody said that moving forward this year, they're going to add some virtual component to their already, fundraising bag of tricks, so to speak. So, it's been really amazing. I mean, for instance, one of the wings, which is for domestic violence, they always have a beautiful fundraiser, brunch fundraiser at the Four Seasons, and all these little kids come. Santa's there, and the whole point of it is they have all these gingerbread houses that the little kids create, while their parents are eating brunch or whatever. And so this year they still had the same fundraiser, and they mailed out the gingerbread houses in boxes to all these families that had participated in the passes so they can play along still with the online experience. So they have got some very creative ways of fundraising.
Yeah,
Talking
they
about
really
pivoting.
do. Kurt, what were you saying? I'm sorry.
I said, talk about pivoting. I mean, that's what it required in 2020 to
Right.
pivot
And
and go ahead, Candace.
And one of the things that I also found, which was interesting, for instance, the National Holocaust Museum, they had Sharon Stone, come in for their virtual fundraiser because all she had to do, was appear on her computer like I'm doing now. So, they have the benefit of bringing in all these celebrities that wouldn't otherwise have been able to participate. I mean, to fly in and stay at a hotel or whatever, but for them to just pick up their phone or computer, everybody said yes. So there was a big celebrity component to a lot of these fundraisers, which I thought was really interesting and very clever.
Yeah,
It's
very. I mean,
almost like the
like
new
you said,
normal. It's weird.
yeah,
Right.
nobody knew how this was going to go. It was either going to be really bad, and
Yeah.
then it turned out to be some really incredible stories. And
Oh,
yeah, I know that you also work with, some chefs in the food industry and that. And what have you seen? What have you seen on that front?
well, again, it's kind of like the fundraisers. I mean, I'm quite frankly very amazed at everybody's creativity. I mean, Swift and Sons, the restaurant in town, they have yurts. They have these yurts that were designed by Kehoe Designs, and they are like reminiscent of a 19th century ski chalet. Tavern on Rush has igloos out on the street. I mean, who would have thought, 12 months ago, 9, 10 months ago, that anything like this would even be possible? But here we are with all these great ideas.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
No, it's amazing. I mean, well, it's Chicago, right, girls? I mean, we rise
We're
to these kind of things.
we're
A little
very,
cold
very clever
doesn't
here.
bother us.
That's true.
we get it done, whatever it takes. Now,
Yeah, exactly.
Candid Candace TV on YouTube. We're still doing this, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's not an everyday thing, but when I find something that's really interesting, I'll have a camera crew come out. We'll go and we'll have fun, and and then I'll bring it back and I'll show the experience to all my friends on my social media platforms. But this Candid Candace TV came about along with all my photography for my blog and everything because when my mother was alive. We lived apart because she still lived in Dupo, Illinois, where I'm from, and I had moved to Chicago. So I wanted her to see the experiences that I was seeing, through my eyes. And so I sort of started doing this actually just for my mom. And now, when I do these videos, I always have her in the back of my head thinking, I want to show my mother this. I want her to see that.
So 2021, what do you have that we're not aware of? What are you going to be doing? What's coming online what's down the road for you?
I'm also going to co-chair an event on October 21st for Eversight, Illinois. They have site restoration, and we're going to be honoring Justine Fidak, who is a fabulous woman around town, great philanthropist, and a doctor is going to receive the Gift of Sight award. And it's going to be at the Peninsula. It's going to be a masquerade, so people can safely wear masks and hopefully be really creative with it. And I hope that this all goes away by then, where we can gather safely in some nice ballroom. I'm sure it'll be a limited number of people, but we're still going full steam ahead with that event. And I know that the Hippocratic Cancer Research Foundation is going to host its Wings of Cure in November, so that's still going to go strong. And so far, those are the only two events that I have on my calendar, but I'm sure that more it's going to come along.
Of course, it's only January.
Say it again.
Your plate gets full fast. I know this.
Well, and I love every second of it. So, I'm a Gemini. I need all that social interaction.
I understand. I understand. And then also what we can do is so people know, not that anyone here doesn't know where to find you, but what we can do is in the links, make sure that we have your stuff so people can follow your charities and kind of see your schedule and see what you're up to.
That would be great. Thank you, Maggie.
Absolutely. Of course, we would love to do that. And also to see, push a little bit more of the Chicago Star media. So
oh yeah, thank you.
learn about that. That just sounds really exciting and it's kind of right up the alley of what we can utilize to find out what's going on. And
yeah,
so
I just want to say about this paper group. I mean, when I was first asked to come on board, and they told me what their mission was, it was exactly aligned with what I've been doing since I moved to Chicago in 1974, whatever year it was. I mean, it's all positive news, all upbeat news. It's, relates to each community that it serves. And it's all good things. And it's news that people can use, and no politics, I mean, it's a fabulous mission statement. And I'm really happy that it's the same as mine. So it makes it really easy.
I don't think it could have come at a better time.
Yeah,
and they're fortunate to have you. I mean,
Oh, thank you.
Candace, we're so excited to talk to you. We just love your energy and helping us kick off the new year and with all these wonderful things ahead. We're so honored that you took the time to meet with us, and we adore you. And I know better than I know you, but I still adore you and love following you and seeing what you're up to and all of the amazing things that you're highlighting through your platform. The city doesn't have you. They are. And all of the beautiful highlights that you give to all the organizations you serve, it's really great. It's really great. And, my friends follow you. We see all your pictures in your blog, and it's just, you're a favorite Chicagoan. And so we're just so happy that you talk with us.
Yeah. Maggie, I'm so honored. My goodness, I'm glad I've got that on a recording. I can listen to it on down days.
Well, listen to it on repeat. So we're always here to tell you that. So, as I'm sure a lot of other people are.
Oh, so. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I completely appreciate it. I'm going to miss serving you and Chuck drinks at RL, kid. But
yeah, are you kidding? Nobody misses that more than we do. No. Well, thank you for chatting with me. I really appreciate it.
Candace, thank you for your time. We're so thrilled to chat with you, and we're excited to see what the year has in store.
Me too. Thank you.
Thanks, kid.
Bye. Yay, Candace. Her
I was-
energy is infectious. I love it. She's
yeah,
just
she's always up.
she's so just a positive ball of love and energy, and I can see why so many different organizations want her there and to use her platform just because she's just she glows. And you know what, and when she talks about these organizations, um you remember them, and so I'm excited to follow her on Chicago Star Media. And
She never has an off day. You know what I mean? Not just work wise. I mean, like she never has a bad day. She's always on. You know.
that's innate talent. That's
And,
one of those special people, and that's why she is who she is and what she does around town.
no,
It's
absolutely.
so
You know,
fun.
she draws people to her. That's just how it is. You know.
She does, and I love her blog and the photos, and kind of stuff happenings around town, and it's fun. It's become part of the Chicago culture in the charity scene, and it's a fun thing, and while it's fun, she's also highlighting really important organizations, and I'm really excited to kind of learn more about Chicago Star Media, especially during this time
Oh yeah. I mean,
where
she's like a social media Bible. You know what I mean? If you
she's
want to know what's happening,
the OG. She's
yeah,
the one who started this in the first place.
exactly. It's so true, Maggie.
100%.
She really
She
is.
can really have her own magazine. We can go be her cheerleaders. I have
You'll
some
have to
ideas.
recommend.
Not that she needs our ideas, but we can, she can easily have her own little magazine if she wanted. So quarterly, yes.
That she could.
Yeah. Well, I'm super excited that we get to talk to Sean next. So, um, I know that he's teeing up, and Sean is another one of those favorite Chicagoans over at the Drake, who will get a chance to talk to more and learn about how they pivoted during this difficult year and some of the amazing things that came out of that forced experience, collective forced experience.
Yeah.
So he's just so lovely, a wonderful person, and I'm really excited, Curt, through your connections and me getting to know him through you, that we get a chance to chat with him today to see how he's kicking off 2021.
He is the
There he
guy.
is.
He's the man about town. And there he is,
Absolutely.
Sean.
Yay, Sean.
Hello, everyone. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Good. I think
Yeah.
Joseph is joining us in a couple of minutes because I think we were scheduled for 11:45. Is that okay, or should we start?
100%. Yeah, we wanted to chat with you for a little bit, and then
Okay,
if you
great.
wanted to bring Joseph in, we can certainly do that.
And if
Yeah.
I have my dog with me, so of course, if he's getting a little bit,
Can you show it? Can we get a little pan on the?
oh yes, absolutely.
That dog's his child, Maggie, by the way.
I understand. I've got two little fluffy ones at home.
This is Prince.
Let's see. Oh, yeah, see. Of course.
Hi.
Ah, oh,
Who's that little
makeup
sweetheart?
right in there. Gorgeous.
Prince is a rescue from Paws, and he is actually a corgi and Jack Russell.
Oh wow, he's
Yes.
adorable.
He has a lot to
And
say. Really. Yes, he is.
He wants to be a part of the show, so
I
as-
know. He's he has a lot to say usually. Okay, so
perfect.
How fun.
yeah,
So fun.
he keeps me really busy, as you know. So I've been with the Drake for the last. This is my 16th year. I was a transplant from the Hilton in Malaysia, and I started off as the assistant manager in the tea room, and over the years moved away or I moved around. I've been to I think every department of the hotel. So I came on a visa initially, and then that was transferred to a green card, and I became a citizen 2 years ago. And
Congratulations, that's awesome.
thank you. It was a long ride, but I'm glad it's over, and I'm here permanently. And I've lived in different neighborhoods. Actually my first residences was the Drake. I lived in the Drake for about 3 months, and
Not a bad place to be.
exactly. But
Right? You and Mamie Walton.
yes, but I came in right. It was my first winter ever, so
Oh boy.
I wanted you to get accustomed to the weather. And I would remember there are times that I tried to make an attempt to move right out of that street, Walton and Michigan, and it was really windy. And that particular year, we had a major storm on Thanksgiving, and I arrived a day before Thanksgiving.
Wow. Wow.
And you've
That's
been stormed ever
intro.
since, let's be honest. You've
Yeah.
been a storm ever since.
No, so funny. Well, we were just, chatting about you, Sean, and, how, you're at the iconic Drake and these amazing events. And why don't you chat with us a little bit about, what 2020 was like with basically everything coming to a close? What was that like for you guys over there? Can you tell us a little bit about with like the events and
Yeah, absolutely. So
yeah,
we started off with over 103 social events, and that included like 92 weddings. That was
wow,
2020. Um, we were able to have events up to March. I actually hosted my first $500,000 wedding in January, which was amazing. We worked with this planner from Charleston. The family's actually from Chicago, and really well done. It's almost a year now since we had the wedding, and she actually carpeted the entire Gold Coast room. It was just beyond. It was just stunning. Um,
wow,
very tastefully done.
Wow.
And then I remember hearing about this whole virus thing from my mom in Malaysia, and my friends call me the whistleblower now because they were like, I remember you walking to the office and talking to us about it, but no one believed me at that time. And then shit hit the fence. Sorry, mine. Yeah.
oh no, we're fine, we're good.
Okay. And then,
I've heard the word before. I'm good with it.
but what was good about us was that the customer always became number one, and it's already a stressful time. What do we do? So as we were starting to get plans together, we just said, if you need to move, go ahead, we'll move you. If we need to cancel and think about it, absolutely. So we were able to actually successfully move all our events to fall of 2020 and a lot of them to 2021. But as we progressed, we said perhaps we'll open in July or August, and that never happened. So it kept on moving on. So some, perhaps one or two did cancel for personal reasons, but everyone successfully moved to 2021 and 2022. So we are not hosting any events for the first quarter this year, and we're hoping to move back to events in April or May. So let's just pray that
Yeah.
things start. But even that, I think we're going to start off periodically on a smaller amount. We can't just say let's host a party for 200. That's not going to happen.
Right.
But we are booked solid till the end of the year. Every Friday and Saturday is booked. Every next year seems great. All our Saturdays are booking. 2022 seems like a vibrant year. It's a perfect year to get married.
I'm so happy to hear that. I think that people are just really going to be for some really good news and to feel like there's vitality coming back into the city. Because I think what's been so hard for people, and Sean, you are very well of this, being in in the iconic Drake and its beautiful location there, just coming to the city and feeling like it's empty, or that things are just you know, things are boarded up for a certain period of time. There's no foot traffic. So to feel like people are coming back to the city and people are, making reservations and making plans. And it's nice. I found myself, normally I'm like, oh, foot traffic in the holidays. And now I'm like, I'm so excited if I see tourists here. And then I'm like, never again will I take that for granted. So it's just so nice to hear that, the Drake, and I'm no surprise, but just that people are reserving and coming back in and making plans. So
And
I'm so happy.
Normal
Part, I think, is what sets us apart. I think is we remained open. I think that was the idea we wanted to send across. We have been open for the last 100 years, and we're going to be open for another 100. So we have now. Is that my?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It could be, like maybe.
Remained open. We never, other hotels may have shut down, but we just kept on running on for guest rooms. Although the occupancy is lower, we just ran our promotion for the Centennial $100 rate for the first quarter, and that's picking up really nice. And
I'm going to post that though. So it's $100 rate. We want people to know about that. So Okay. All right. We'll make sure we'll post something that in the link so people know.
It's the first 100 days of 2021, and of course, subject to availability on. And some days we are perhaps are booked already.
I imagine what an opportunity for somebody to enjoy the comforts of the Drake and the iconic Drake. Does that include Princess Diana Suite? I mean, I'll
No,
book it tomorrow if I can. What? I thought
that
I knew you. Oh, that's
no, I think that rate starts up pretty high. But of course, start to
Rats.
build up from there. You can start off at the 100 rate, and then you can always pay the upgrade.
Okay.
Talk to us about this, because not everybody knows about the Princess Diana suite. So how did just give us a little bit of a tidbit on that.
So we basically have two presidential suites. We started off originally on. Let's start from the scratch. We started off with over 900 rooms initially in 1920. Right now we have about 535 guest rooms.
Okay.
The original presidential suite is on the 9th floor, which is 950.
Okay.
And then since Princess Diana came to Chicago in June of 1996, then that became a momentous occasion, and people have been flocking that room. And now that's been called the Princess Diana Suite, and that's 550. So basically, the configuration of 950 and 550 is similar. However, it has more of a dainty touch or a luxury touch to 550 Princess Diana Suite. Also, the photographer who photographed Princess Diana when she was in town gave us a license for all the photography, so it's all over the room.
Oh,
Wow.
beautiful.
It is the perfect bridal suite. I'm not sure if you're aware. We also have a penthouse upstairs. It's full bed, full bath. We have private residences who have stayed with us. It's a nice, it's a beautiful space. Perfect view, of course, but that is above the 9th floor.
So if somebody wants to rent that out, so it can be like a more of a long-term stay, who do they contact for that?
I can connect you with the executive office. That goes to our exec office. But I believe the last time I checked, don't quote me on this, I think it's 16,000 a month. But
Okay.
then it's full bed, full
I'll
bath.
book it for you, man.
No, but that's good to
yours,
know.
man.
Because people want short term. Sometimes they're here, executives are here for a month or two. And hotel stay, it's not advertised a ton, but the Four Seasons, I mean, it's available.
Yep.
There's and it's good to know that there's just a beautiful penthouse at the Drake that somebody can rent, for a shorter term rental.
So over the years, we have done a lot of promotions pertaining to the Princess Diana Suite. Like I did the kickoff or the party for Kate Middleton and Prince William, which was really well received. We had different seatings. It was the screening party for the wedding. It put me on BBC News. It put me on the Today Show. People really responded to the whole concept. And I think what's great about the Princess Diana Suite is there are lots of royal fans who live in Chicago. And people connect to her. It's just, she's one of the most iconic princesses. And people just adore her. Even if you did not know her then, you know her now. And you just fall for her,
Now, I got to jump into something because it just occurred to me, and I'm not sure who that is, but Sean, let's talk a little bit about Whitney Houston.
Oh, so one of the reasons I really wanted to move to America was to meet Whitney Houston. And believe it or not, so I actually moved the first time to the US. I lived in South Carolina for 2 years. And then I moved back to Malaysia. And my mom wasn't really happy about me moving because I'm the youngest. And I actually moved, I only told her the day off, I think, that I was going to America. And she's like, her exact words were like, "Do you think you're Eddie Murphy?" And I'm like, "Mom, this is not a joke. This is actual fact." And I always knew that somehow I will actually meet her. And I was fortunate enough because there was a time she was checking in at the Four Seasons, and I knew she was checking in. So I waited, and I had a couple of martinis, and I waited, and she was a no-show. But it's common. She's always a no-show at times, But so that didn't help. But the next day I went again, and I knew it was her. So she was checking in, but she was sitting at the corner, and I went up. I said, "Whitney." She didn't look. So I said, "Whitney Elizabeth Houston." Then she looked, but then security came and they're like, "You got to go." And I'm like, "Oh, Oh, shoot. So I actually ran. I just left. But my friend went up to her and said, hey, this guy is your big fan. All he wanted to do is say hello. And she said, call him here. But I was on the way down, so I didn't get the message.
Oh,
But she gave me an autograph. So I have the autograph. I have the pen she used, the napkin she used to wipe her face. It's all with me. It's in a little box. But that's not all. Then
No, I know it's not all. I want you to get to the other part of that.
and my friends at Harpo Studios called me 2 days before because they knew that I was a big fan, and they said, okay, they called me and said, you and 10 of your friends can come for the show. However, Whitney Houston is not going to be here. I said, okay, that's fine. I'll come. I'm a fan, you know? So I remember I called my hairstylist, my dentist, and whoever I could just get this was last minute. And I went into the show. We were the first 300 people to actually view the interview she did with Oprah Winfrey. And it was great, wonderful. And then Oprah said, thank you everyone for coming. And she says, Whitney Houston. And then she lifts up her hand and there she was.
oh my gosh.
One, the only, the incomparable Whitney Houston. And it was my first time ever listening to her. And she sounded amazing. She looked great. Yeah, it's a loss, that she's gone. But her music,
But
I always
Sean,
no
you're being a little modest here. I have to tell you, you do sing.
I do, and I do sing her songs. I believe it or not, I won up for Windy City Gay Idol, and
What?
I have.
He's very good, Maggie. He's very,
Can
very
you
good.
give us a little bit? Now you have to give us a little bit of a sample. We can't let that go. If you could give us, Sean, can you sing?
Who is Ruby?
Ruby. She
Ruby.
is our producer who's amazing, who's backstage.
Oh, I can let me give you a tune. You can reach me by railway. You can reach me by trailway. I don't care how you get here. Just get here if you can.
Woo!
I told
Amazing.
He's a hidden
I try.
talent.
So my mom was the one who introduced me to music, and I'm into music. And of course, I could sing her music when I was younger. It's really hard now, but and we were very Americanized growing up. Like we watched sitcoms like Growing Pains, Full House, but it was all like my mother tongue is Hindi or Tamil, but I don't speak it because my mom only spoke as English, and I say certain things differently because we were born and raised in British English, So, but yes, singing is great. I still sing to the puppy these days, and he's with me in like an amusement.
Sean, honestly, that was beautiful. That was. Thank you for doing that. That was a treat. That your voice is stunning.
I think Joseph is here.
What?
Wonderful. Joseph, let's bring Joseph in because you formed a bond with him. You created your own little new company and what have you, and and Joseph's just a great guy. So let's get him in on this.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Hey.
Yay.
Joseph.
Hey. Sorry about the mess behind me. This is the remnants of Happy Hour Tower fulfillment
I
center.
love it.
Yeah, box.
I love it. It's an authentic peek into how everything behind the scenes.
Right. So, we're gearing up for the reimagination of the Tower project. I don't know if Sean mentioned that yet.
We haven't gotten into that, but I can't wait to talk about it because I got a call from my client saying that could have been one of the best gift baskets I've ever sent and that they've ever received. And I got a special call just saying how much they loved it. And
that's wonderful.
I've never seen anything like it, and we're super excited about it.
Great. I'm so glad that it was so well received. We had a lot of fun, right, Sean?
Indeed.
Yeah, so why don't we back up? Let's talk about how this all formed and then how this came to be. So,
Joseph,
well, let's give a little applause to.
I think it was a moment that I've personally been waiting for a long time.
But first, we have to introduce. Sorry, Joseph, you're the president of Slate Design, so we want to chat about that delivery.
Yeah, I am the chief experience officer of Slate Spaces. Right. My background is luxury interior design, so I've spent all my years in that space. And I think you might know that I spent almost 9 years in the Middle East. I was living there
Right.
Wow.
and working
Right.
there. So it was like a terrific career path. But it brought me back to Chicago and Midwest, which is home. And it's been great ever since. But everybody knows Sean, and I think Sean's an amazing person. And I remember reaching out to Sean during March of last year, when everything was sort of weird and kind of, everybody was kind of, imagining what they wanted to do. And I just texted Sean and I said, Sean, I have an idea. It's not fully fleshed out yet, but I'm going to be contacting you about it because I really, really want you to be with me on this, So I don't know if you remember that conversation way back in March.
I absolutely do.
Yeah. So we've come a long way, I'm glad. So anyway, when it started to become a little bit more of a solid idea, we had a call about it, and Sean seemed pretty enthusiastic and jumped on, and we put it together in 2 or 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty quick, but we clicked. We worked really well together. I think our experiences complement each other, so it really was a good match.
That's
They're
exciting.
absolutely stunning. I remember first seeing them, I think maybe it was Facebook or something, because I'm friends with both of you. And when I first saw it, I thought, I wonder where these guys got these. And then I realized, well, you two did this. And that's when I reached out to Maggie and I said, you've got to see these things. They're absolutely beautiful. They run the gamut, and you guys can get into details, but you can go from chocolate all the way up to these towers, which can have charcuteries and it can have cheeses and it has the wines and champagnes and elaborate on that for us. It runs
Yeah, it's a
price range
perfect
as well.
balance of food. It's not all sugar. It's not this stuff. It's stuff that people can actually eat and enjoy. So, and that was another thing that one of my clients really liked was that that they could. It wasn't just I was giving them a bunch of sugar, for the holidays. That they were actually going to sit down and enjoy this, with the wine and everything. So, how is that all curated?
Well, and I'll just jump in there first. It was basically going to be a design-driven project. I wanted something that was going to really stand out. I wanted it to be very polished, elegant, luxurious. So that was definitely going to be what I could bring to the project. But I felt that Sean was going to be the perfect partner in this to actually put the culinary piece together. So we talked about it, a little bit. I gave him my general idea of what I thought it should contain, and then he put that beautiful presentation together. And he worked with some of his favorite purveyors. I know he brought some of the best people to the project that we could ever have. We had fantastic florist, chocolatier, the catering company. I'm not really sure who else we had on there, Sean, but they were all fantastic. Everybody really delivered 1,000%.
Yeah.
And you also do like a white glove service. It's
yes,
white glove service and pickup if people want to do that.
I think and picking back on what Joseph had to say, we came up with the tower, yes, but not much sugar in mind, but mostly I think the idea was it would be a perfect hostess gift, or if you're we didn't want to take the space for lunch or dinner. We knew that people were still heading out, they were taking out from other restaurants and so on. So we focused on something that people could have for cocktail hour, holiday hour, or we called it. And you could have it in the afternoon, you could have it midday, it was just perfect. And we worked with great vendors. We worked with Cook Chicago, which she is Joanne, the owner of Cake Chicago, and she works with me at the Drake as well. She's actually a food scientist by profession, and one of the only people who actually has she has a bakery, just gluten-free bakery. And then we ventured into entertaining company, one of my favorite catering companies, and I've always wanted to work with them on this scale, so it was perfect. We are very pleased and happy with the final product. And we worked with different stationery people. So eventually it all came back together. And then Joseph came up with the idea of the towers. And It was a really good start, and we're keeping that in mind as we evolve and get to different times of the year and on what we can produce next. And I think I can tell you a sneak peek of what's coming next. Not much, but just a sneak peek.
Yes,
We'd love to
yes.
hear it.
Mm,
Um, so it is for Valentine's Day, and but we want to gather. It's going to be still a luxury tower, um, and I think it's going to be based on afternoon tea. And who does not like afternoon tea? And many people get confused with the term high tea and afternoon tea. But in an easy term is afternoon tea is also known as low tea, and you serve it at low tables. And it has your finger sandwiches, bread and scones, and French pastry, which we're going to bring it to you to your home. So it's afternoon tea at home. It's a perfect way, and it's typically really busy in this time of the year for tea. It's colder. People want to have a nice cup of tea. So it's going to be in a really nice curated box, and we bring that directly to your home. And I'll leave it as it is. And I think we may have a few different options just to give guests. It's also, sorry, let me say this. It's one of the busiest days or weekends where people are actually proposing to their loved ones. So I think we might have an option for them, something unique, something out of this world, and hopefully they will grab this opportunity.
No, it sounds
Wow, that's exciting. I mean, for Maggie and I, for us, it was an automatic as closing gifts and send to our clients, and so for any real estate agents out there, we just thought, wow, what a great opportunity and such a beautiful presentation to take and send over to our clients or closing gifts and whatever. So many different ways of being able to
Yeah, and it's
introduce them.
local. It's locally curated, and there's just something very special, special about the way that you guys have gone about this.
Joseph is very particular about his bows. I can tell you that.
Well, look, I mean, we really wanted it to be experiential. We're not trying to go into the catering world, right? I mean, we're trying to create something that people enjoy giving. I think we alluded to that already, and enjoy receiving as well and sharing it. And with COVID, with all these restrictions around COVID, it just seemed perfect that you could just do it in your pajamas or you could do it in a tuxedo. It just didn't really even matter, you know? So yeah, we're really looking forward to finalizing the details.
Well, I think so far you guys have really accomplished a lot of your goals in your design and packaging, and it's definitely created the end experience for people. So we're so excited about that. And
Great.
then we'll make sure that people can find you in our link so they know where to be able to place orders and to see what you guys are up to.
Wonderful, wonderful.
For those that are just listening, why don't you tell us where that is? We'll definitely have that information available. But best place.
Oh, Sean, do you want to speak on that? Because I think we're still kind of deciding on the actual rollout date.
Okay.
I do know that we're going to try to make the purchasing and the shopping experience as seamless as possible. That's one component of our project that I think we can work on. But I think Sean is pretty much in charge of managing the logistics and trying to help us decide, where we can, what channels we're going to be using and when, the dates that we're going to be rolling it out. We do have a couple of opportunities for live pop-up events in some properties here in the city, which we're kind of just trying to work out the technicalities of that right now, but I think that's going to be really, really interesting.
Good.
So I'm referring to like multifamily properties here in downtown.
Yeah.
Like lobby events.
So
Great.
I think we should kick off, if everything goes well, if we get all our details soon, we should kick off the whole idea and concept to the world late January. And if you are thinking of getting something for Valentine's Day for someone special, just reach out to us on slatespaces.com or just on our Facebook or Instagrams. And I think we can get something so we can share with you the idea on what we're coming up with. Or especially if you're planning to propose this Valentine's weekend, it's important that you reach out to us. But the goal is to get this out by January 25th, hopefully. And we will do, as Joseph mentioned, I think we're going to be meeting the clients, prospective guests, clients, the week before Valentine's Day for all those last minute buyers. Like I am most likely, if I'm in love, well, I have been, but if I am in love and if I do have someone, I think I most likely would have done all my planning already by now.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
No pressure on me now. All of a sudden, I'm not even thinking about Valentine's Day. Ah.
There is a tab on the website already where you can plug in your email address, so you can be on the VIP list, so you'll be receiving the first announcement.
Oh, great. That's
Yeah.
good.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah,
Perfect.
I love it.
Perfect.
Well, guys, thank you so much.
Yeah, you guys are amazing. We're excited that we're talking to some of our favorite Chicagoans to find out what they're up to and how they pivoted in 2020 and the awesome things that they're looking forward to in 2021. So we're just so happy that you guys took the time out of your day to chat with us. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for inviting me.
Thanks, guys.
Pleasure.
Appreciate
All
it.
right, you guys.
Well, that was fun,
That was so fun.
wasn't it? I mean, I kind of initially
Yeah,
thought
I think we're getting our stride.
yeah, and I think that I thought initially they were just going to do it for the holidays, but and as you know, it's just gorgeous. They should carry that through. I mean, you got Valentine's Day, you've got a lot of, and for us, I do think closing gifts and what have you. I mean, because the presentation is beautiful.
The
Absolutely beautiful.
presentation is absolutely beautiful. It's a very simple design. It's a local, people are supporting local. I know that's really important to the community right now in Chicagoans that they're supporting their local institutions. The Drake is such an important part of, Lakeshore Drive and the resident community there and people
Yeah.
eating and, just it's so iconic to Chicago. So to be able to support locally our institutions is, I think people are looking for that. I'm really excited now. We're going to go to some clips of DC Crunch and his beautiful wife, Elena, as they visited some of their restaurants in Chicago. And we learn about how these restaurants are really anchors in the community and how they form the personality in a neighborhood and how really important they are to their survival to the neighborhood that they're around. These are places that people go pick up, takeout, dinner. They're there maybe twice a week. And as you know, from being an RL, Curt, that's such a neighborhood spot. So here we see them chat with some of their favorites and figure out how people are pivoting in, 2021 in what they've had to deal with this past year. So teeing that up very soon. Don't go away. We're going to get a clip of that. DC, thank you so much for being here with us today on this pre-winter day, sunny.
Absolutely. No, man, I'm glad to be here. Even though it's a little brisk, the sun is shining. So it's always good when you can put your sunglasses on in Chicago, right?
That's right, in December. I'll take it. I'll take it. And so here we are in this great neighborhood in Wicker Park, and then you're going to take us to go see Jordan's Catering. And let's talk about during COVID, how they've had to pivot and what you think this has meant to this neighborhood over here.
Jordan's Food of Distinction is Elena's and I, one of our favorite catering venues. And they do a lot with weddings. They've done a lot of private events, backyard barbecues. But they had to kind of be creative and decide how they're going to maintain business while this pandemic was affecting them. So they opened up a walk-up window, which Elena and I came and we checked out and we really like it. So I'm happy to showcase what they're doing in the neighborhood in Noble Square and also what they're serving to the community.
What do you think Jordan's space being here has done to this community also as it's evolving? I know it's pivoted, people can go there in the day of isolation. How do you think it's anchored? Do you think you considered it anchored here?
Well, I think it's probably brought the community together. I think that most people are wanting to support small businesses because, we want the small businesses to thrive. And I think that Jordan's Food of Distinction has given something to the community that they can look forward to. And the community is taking advantage of that, and they can see that they're trying to help each other out. So it's a symbiotic relationship.
Well, let's go ahead and check it out.
Absolutely. Let's go check it out.
So welcome to Jordan's Food of Distinction, or JFUD as we like to call it.
Yeah, it's one of our favorite places, and we have a long history with Jordan and his mom Pam.
I love it.
Family-owned business that we've been knowing for about 12 years now.
Wonderful. Well, we're really excited to kind of get a taste and a feel for your place. And while you guys are doing that, I'm going to take a sneak peek through this red door and see what's back there.
Oh yeah, you
check
gotta check it out. It's
All right.
really cool venue.
cool.
Yeah, we're gonna order some empanadas while you do your thing.
I love it. All right.
Alrighty.
So it's been quite a year for us, hasn't it?
It's interesting. It's a fun year, and we're learning how to really dive in and make the best of it. So have a lot more time on our hands during the week. We're not busy setting up for our huge events that we have on the weekends. The weekend events that we're doing are very small scale, so we find ourselves with a lot of time during the week, and we thought it would be really nice to kind of break out of jail here a few days a week and meet the neighborhood, provide a very safe alternative for people to come get food. We change the menu every 2 days, so it's constantly evolving.
You guys are also doing to-go cocktails with your Spitzology brand.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that.
I
So
love that
Spitzology
idea
is our
too.
liquid division of the catering company.
There you go.
Since we're not doing the big events of 200 people, we thought we'll package them where everyone can take that in their home and enjoy it with their loved ones, family, friends. Craft cocktails are made daily, house-made shrubs.
Full disclosure, you guys are making a cocktail with my favorite tequila, which I'm a part of, Cantera Negra. We'll come inside and take a look at that. We're inside behind the red door now. Hey Jordan, why don't you show us around?
So, welcome to my dojo here. Kind of one of our staples.
It's good.
Impossible meat empanadas,
Nice.
chimichurri, little avocado. Wow, Jordan, you never cease to amaze me. Here's my-
That's good. It's good stuff.
You don't miss the animal.
I do
That's
not.
good stuff right there.
That's fantastic.
Well, we know that people come here for the food and maybe they stay for the drinks.
Our Mescal Cocktails are 30 for a 375 milliliter.
So that's about 3 cocktails? Or-
4 to 5.
4 to 5,
Yep.
okay.
Yep, 4 to 5 cocktails. And just kind of let it open it up with the ice just a little bit for a minute.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Ooh, that's good.
Jordan,
That's really good.
you've officially been spritzed.
Expressed. You gotta make sure you come down to JFOD to get one of these. And while you're down here, you can also pick up one of these, Cantera Negra Cafe. Jude, you the man, brother, you the man.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That was so great. I'm so thankful to Elena and DC, and they're just so awesome in what they do for the community and restaurants. And that was just such a great segment. So a special shout out to those guys and everyone else that came on. Kurt, what a great,
Oh my
you know,
God, what a great panel of people to talk to. I enjoyed it. I think they enjoyed it. And certainly want to thank everyone for watching. And
Absolutely.
until next time.
Until the next time. And it's fun to see what some of our favorite Chicagoans are up to and how people have sort of pivoted in 2020 and, you know, lessons there and gearing up for 2021. So until the next time.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thank you guys. Bye.